Okay, so we're here today and we're going to talk about money and beliefs. It's a theme that is really an emotive theme for probably 90% of the population is, money. Most people need money or want money or lack money. And there's so many attachments and beliefs around that. Most of them, unfortunately, are negative. And we're here today to talk about, just explore that and see whether we can sort of uncover some should we say, insights of how to sort of break away from those beliefs. So, Danny, how are you today? You all right?
Yep. Hello, everybody.
And Kaz?
Yeah, bit of a cold, but yeah, I'm great. Hi, everyone.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about money and let's go back. What is a belief? Well, I think everyone's got a different. Some people don't know what a belief is, but would anyone like to sort of throw in an idea of what is a belief?
Well, for me, a belief is something that we run in the back of our minds without even knowing it. We get our beliefs from birth. As we said in the previous call, sometimes our beliefs are ours and sometimes they're not ours. So a belief is something that it's like faith could move mountains. We have that belief that this is going to happen or that's going to happen, whether it be positive or negative. What about you, Danny?
I feel it's like an all-pervading precept that's throughout our whole body somehow, a belief. It's not just a mental thing.
So I suppose some people say beliefs are, thoughts that you keep thinking over and over again. You keep thinking, I'm not good at swimming. I'm not, and you keep saying it to your friends, and then it becomes unconscious, and you start buying into the story. I'm not a good swimmer. I'm not a good swimmer. Over probably a number of years, especially when you're a child, if that thought process keeps going on, you've bought into it, then that becomes your belief. Yeah, thoughts that you keep thinking over and over again. And I guess that gets down into your what they call cell level, your DNA, as it were. And I suppose then it becomes the all-pervading thing in your body, because perhaps from like when I was a kid, for example, I believed that I was not a good swimmer, and I think for a number of years I lived with that belief unconsciously. And of course, the result of that was struggled at swimming long distances.
Were you afraid of water as well?
Afraid of water as well. So there was this fear of water. So it could have been a fear about water. That's why I probably said I'm not a good swimmer. Maybe it was a ploy to sort of not go in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So I faced that over time. But if I were in the middle of the ocean, I had to drop in and do a dive, I'd be pretty scared about it. So there's some belief there. There's some deep belief that maybe the belief is if I do that, I'm going to drown or I'm going to lose control. So, a lot of these beliefs are coming from fear.
Well,
I think a lot of beliefs come from childhood. And, when we're tiny, we look up to our protectors or our protector, parents or parent, and everything they say is right, until possibly the age of about 9, when we start questioning things. We can, as we get older, we can shed some of their beliefs. For example, I grew up with my stepmother, talked a lot about wealthy people being bad people, and that, there was some sort of goodness about people that had nothing and that were poor because they were pure of heart, or this type of thing. And when you get to a certain age and you start questioning things, and you shed off as many of those beliefs as you can, but some things just stay with you your whole life. And even if someone asked me, when I was 20, are wealthy people bad people? I would say, of course not. But that's why I was sort of saying it's in your body. It's not just your mind. I think it's so all-pervading, that belief. It's gone so deep into your psyche that even if you think you've shed it, you possibly haven't.
That makes me sort of think about, the hundreds and thousands of people who try the law of attraction for money and do not succeed. They do their vision boards, they do all things they're meant to do. But if you're running a belief and you're not even aware that you're running a belief that, money doesn't grow on trees, or your parents or whoever brought you up, saying, you have to work really hard to have money, and all those sort of negative things against money, then you must be battling yourself, surely, without even knowing that you're doing this. I don't know
Yeah,
what
that's the
you
problem.
think.
You're right. I agree. The law of attraction. I mean, the law of attraction works, but unfortunately for most people, it works on an unconscious level. So if you've got 100,000 beliefs saying, money is bad, rich people are bad, good people are poor. In the Bible, it says it's better to be poor if you want to go into heaven. All these sort of things. And you're putting a vision board of having a Mercedes and living the life on a beach. There's too much of there's an inner war going on, and until you can sort that inner war out, going back to what did I notice as a kid? What did I observe? Because unfortunately, as children, parents don't say this is a belief. We just learn through observation. So I think really what happens is that the law of attraction does work, but unfortunately it works on the stuff that's been so embedded deeply in us that's where it takes its instructions from. And I think that's where most people miss out on that. They're not willing to dig deep to undo. We talked about this in another call about, our minds have a virus in them sometimes, and we need like an antivirus software to clear away the stuff from the hard drive, our brain. And the antivirus software to me is kind of a belief-busting approach, or belief-dissolving approach. And once you start dissolving that, I think the law of attraction comes in, and it wants to help you, but unfortunately our resistance beliefs stop it. What do you guys think?
I think some beliefs are harder to shift than others, and I think things that have got some sort of intrinsic moral thing going on with morality, they're more deeply embedded in us somehow. I mean, we're taught how to be good people and what's, the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. And those beliefs, because they have right and wrong attached to them, are really strongly embedded in us as kids. And I think money has all of those things, labels hanging off it. It's all very connected to morality somehow.
Morality, but is that another belief?
Well, if somebody says don't do this, and I know my father brought us up not to harm small creatures, no matter how small they were, whether it was an ant or a bee or even if a mosquito or a fly or something, if you can catch it and put it outside, well, why not do that? Because we're all creatures on this planet. And then at the same time, there were all these things going on about money that, because I took one thing and, it was about right and wrong, and then the same things are attached to money. If you have lots of money, greed is really a bad thing. And that, attaching that having lots of money is being greedy, when in fact it's not at all. Yeah, this right and wrong thing, I think makes that belief even more deeply seated in one, because it's a part of the morality of a moral code somehow. What do you think, Kaz?
Well, I was just thinking, and I was thinking that the universe is abundant in money. There's enough money there for everyone. So, what if you wish to have £1 million, then it's not going to affect the next person. My parents says money doesn't grow on trees. And for a while, when I was younger, I was looking for money trees, thinking, well, if I could find that money tree, then we'd be okay. But you two also got me thinking about me being as a parent. And the amount of times I used to say to my children, no, we can't afford it. I'm thinking, what if I drummed into them, especially my 3 older ones? My younger one I am completely different with. It's like, no, yeah, we can afford that. You can have that. Do you really want it? The path is like a minefield, isn't it? Because we know what I've been saying to my children. I would hate to hear my children say to their children, we can't afford it. Because they would have got that from me. Because I know where I got it from. I got it from my parents. So it's not actually my belief, because I don't see any obstacles in my way. So, yeah, it just really started me thinking, listening to you two.
Yeah, I read books on beliefs and money and all that, and still, like recently, we were talking, because we're doing various trips to Spain. My wife was saying, what about Ireland? We need to go and, see your family in Ireland. I said, well, I'm not sure we've got the money for that. That's just thing, and I noticed my thoughts come up. It's like autopilot thinking, So you can be aware of this stuff, but it's all, as you say, it's all pervading at times, and suddenly, unconsciously, there's like a knee-jerk reaction saying, I haven't got the money for it. I mean, if I do that, then I'm going to sort of like be short of money in a few months' time. If I carry on spending money like this, I'm going to run out.
Mm-hmm. That's logical, though, isn't it? With law of attraction, it's not about logic, then, is it? It's about energy and drawing the things that we want to us.
Does it also matter what we're going to do with it and why we want it? Does that ever come into question, do you think? Especially if you're working with the universal laws. What do you think? I mean, does it, if you want it just for the sake of wanting it, there's no real heart-based desire for it. I wondered if you would get it.
Yeah, well, there's a very good thing that you hear about in goal setting sometimes. Well, why do I want 10,000 a month? And if you haven't got enough if your why isn't strong enough, you haven't got the strong enough reason, then the emotion's not there. And some people are absolutely convinced emotionally that 10,000 is necessary for them. Maybe they're going to set up a school for underprivileged, or whatever. They have this tremendous burning desire. And Napoleon Hill talks about it, Think and Grow Rich, and I think he's onto something there. This burning desire, not sort of a selfish desire, but a burning desire. Someone really wants that money.
Because then it isn't about more, is it? Because this whole law of attraction is very much about it's okay to want more. But yeah, if we get specific about it, not more just for the sake of it, as Kaz said, and what you're saying too, is that there has to be, a reason, passion behind it for something, a goal, and I don't think it matters what that is, even if it is a gold Mercedes-Benz or sort of. I think if there's a passion and heart there for that, it will come.
But then, Danny, as you said earlier, what about if we're actually afraid of succeeding? Because, a lot of it, you were saying about the fear. You hear these stories, don't you? Money changes everyone. Everyone, people who win the pools back in my days before the lottery and all that come out. They changes their life and they change as a person. But also there's that fear. I mean, imagine it. Imagine if you really wanted to have this beautiful house and you got it. How's that really going to affect you?
Well, this is the thing, because, you hear about the people who win the lottery and then 2 years later they're broke. Now, not all of them, but a lot of them have all the money and they blow it all because I think underneath that they've got beliefs that they don't deserve it. They don't deserve to be rich. They don't deserve to have all this luxury. It's like, and you get the house.
Another belief.
It's another belief. But imagine getting your luxury house. You do the law of attraction and all that. And some people who do the law of attraction get the lovely house, and suddenly they sabotage themselves, and they lose the house, or something happens for them not to retain that house. So maybe they have a belief that they're going to lose it all. So that's another belief, isn't it? Oh my God, I've got this money now. God, I'm afraid now I might lose it all. And then they work hard to try and
belief
control.
Comes back up again,
So it's another belief, yeah. So, if you're going to win the lottery, go in there with, be aware that, your beliefs are going to start coming up. Because if I won £10 million tomorrow, I mean, first of all, I'd love it. But I think once I've got it, I think, do I deserve this? Why me? Why not somebody else?
Maybe winning the lottery is a lesson of some kind that is bestowed upon certain people that need to learn certain things. Because I've never heard of anyone that's won the lottery that had a great big burning desire to start a school for underprivileged children and then they suddenly won the lottery. I've never heard of anyone that had some great big burning desire and there it was through a lottery win. I've heard of people that have achieved their desires through really strange means, and things have happened, magical kind of things have happened in their lives and that have helped create what they want. But I've never really heard of anyone that won the lottery that wanted to do something really worthwhile and,
Sure, there's one or two out there who've won the lottery and think, well, I've always wanted to help, the school down the road or, open up a place in Africa. But it's few and far between.
Mm-hmm. But if they wanted to, help the people down the road, they probably could do, if their passion was enough, great enough to do that, they would have achieved it in another way. So just having the money is just sort of, it helps them to to be able to be charitable, which is in their nature anyway. But
so I think you mentioned, you hit on the spot. You've got to have the heart for something. You've got to have the heart to have the money. You've got to feel it. They say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. There was a book written in the early 1900s about that. As a man thinketh. It was one of the first personal development books of its kind. But it's like, what are you feeling in your heart? You know, you might be saying, I want £1 million or $1 million, but in your heart, you don't deserve it. So I think you've really got to listen to what's going on inside your sort of feeling centre, your heart centre.
I always have the thing of like, the universe might want something slightly different from me. You know, I really want this, and I'll do a vision board of what I want, and then I'm thinking, well, I don't want to control it too much. You know, they say with law of attraction that you have to imagine every single thing in your. I really needed a new car, you know, so I imagined a specific car. It was very specific. Law of attraction says you should be very specific in imagining driving it and what type of interior and what colour it will be and what shape and all the rest of it. But I sort of think, well, sometimes maybe the higher force or the universe wants something slightly different for me than what I think I want.
Yep, so ego comes into it. Sometimes I think what you think you want is not what your heart, your intuition or higher self wants. So we're going into a kind of a different thing there. So, you know, maybe another call on how do you work with your higher self. But how about you, Kaz? I think we should close off this, maybe continue on another call. We're over 20 minutes. I don't know whether you want to add anything or summarise.
No, I mean, I can save what I wanted to say for the next call.
Okay, great. Interesting call, and perhaps we can continue this theme on to the next call.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Bye.